Hey guys, I just wanted to do a follow-up video. I had a request that I speak a little bit more about the Kechari Mudra. My last video wasn't exactly super detailed, it was just kind of a description of a technique to use to release what in my opinion is DMT or dimethyltryptamine from the brain and from the lungs. Kechari Mudra is a yogic position. It was also used in the Buddhist religion. I forget what it was called, the Poloni Canon or something, in which they describe taking the tip of the tongue and placing it up against the soft palate in order to control hunger and to control certain actions and reactions inside the body. In yogic culture, it's used more for raising the spiritual energies of the lower chakras up to the upper chakras, as well as stimulating certain feelings, fighting disease. It was used as a medical purpose as well. So Kechari Mudra, true Kechari Mudra, is where you take the tip of the tongue, curl it backwards, put it up into the nasal pharynx area, which is that area behind the soft palate. So if you reach up into your mouth, you find your uvula in the back. That's the thing that dangles down. If you push up from there, so you go to the uvula and up, there's actually a little hole that goes up into your nasal passages. Above that is the area that you want to stimulate to release what was traditionally called the nectar of the gods, which many of us believe to be DMT. So the way you would start to do is you would just press the tip of your tongue up against the hard part in the mouth, which is just right here behind the teeth, because a lot of times your tongue's not very flexible. So you're going to start doing that over a period of a week. Just kind of do the same thing, stretch it a little bit. You don't want to do it too much because you can damage your lingual frenulum, which is this little webbing here. You can damage that if you stretch too hard, and what will happen then is that it won't be able to stretch anymore and it'll shrivel up a little bit and just be a little harder to do. So if you just practice, I did the little squirt thing. You just practice curling your tongue and pushing it up for a while, and then each time, each week, push it a little further back until you can get it back in there. What I did just now is I used my inhalation to pull the tongue back a little bit. It helps me. But you can touch the uvula with your tongue, and then you can begin to push your tongue up inside the soft palate. Now, I want to make sure that if you're doing this as a regular meditation technique, you need to be on a healthy, light diet, because something about this action can cause you to be constipated if you do it eating bad foods, eating meat, eating things like that. Okay, sorry about that. So one way that you can practice is by just pushing the tongue a little bit and help stretching the frenulum. Hold up till it starts to get just a bit sore, and then you back off. In ancient times, they used to actually take a small blade and lightly slice the frenulum, put some salt in there and then some honey, and pack it in there overnight. And then over time, they would cut it till that frenulum was gone. I would not suggest cutting your frenulum. If you decide to do that, you need to go to a doctor and get advice. And have the doctor perform that surgery. I wouldn't advise it, as you can stretch it over time yourself. Some of the benefits that I've noticed: I feel much more aware of my body. I feel much more conscious. I feel a lot less anxiety. I feel some of the stress in my life is gone. Negative side effects sometimes can be a little bit too out of your body, a little bit too spatially aware. So sometimes, in a normal conversation, you need to be looking in someone's eyes and having a conversation with them. But if you're doing this a lot and you're focusing all these chakra energy up, you're focusing it all, you can be a little bit out of the conversation, if that makes sense. Feeling around you more than you are focusing on a person. I haven't noticed too many bad side effects other than, like I said, the constipation issue. But if you're on a healthy diet, preferably vegetarian, drinking lots of water, doing your stretching, doing your yoga, I think that this would be very beneficial for you. Now don't think that this practice will come quickly, because the Khechari Mudra can take a year to get the tongue in the position that you really want it to be in to do what you're doing. So once you get it back into the back of the mouth, up into the palate, you can start stimulating that area up there by moving the tongue, and you'll notice this salty flavor, and then after a while it starts to get sweet, and that's when the DMT is supposedly secreting. We know that DMT has been found in the brains of lab mice. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to find it in a human pituitary gland, because by the time we cut into it, the pituitary gland has dried up of any possible DMT. DMT is a crystalline structure, so it would dry up very quickly. We have found, however, traces of DMT in the lungs from breathing, which is why in my previous video I teach the hyperventilation, because hyperventilating is a way to stimulate the DMT production. So hopefully this helps a little bit. If you have any more questions, by all means let me know so I can make another video for you guys. Thanks. Bye.